What's poppin'? My name is Richie, and today, yeah, we have a face cam, and we're building the Batmobile from, I think it's the 1989. It is one of the older ones, but I think this one looks more like a Batmobile, like the new ones look more like a futuristic tank. So I think this one looks a little bit cooler than like artistic builds and stuff like that, and today I'm going to show you how to build it. I would say it's easier than the Octane that we did last time. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into it. So, we're gonna build this with the step-by-step tutorial, not the speed build tutorial, because I think it's a lot better to have the step-by-step than having the speed build. Speed builds are cool and all, I like them as well, but I don't think they give you that much information about how to build this actually, and how I can give you tips along the way. So yeah, we're gonna start off by two basic cubes here. So these are two cubes that I put together. These are not that important actually, these are just the foundation, and we're gonna delete them later. So don't get too over complicated on how big they should be. They're just a basic line of where you want to go with this. These cubes are these cubes over here, these little things. Just get them up. And that is easy. All you have to do is make it as big as you want. Less like no really like some kind of size that you should follow. Make it so it looks good for you, okay? That is important. The next step is a little bit more on the important side here. So we have the first two items which are going to be very important, and that is the big engine thing that is in the front of the whole thing here. That thing that stretches over basically the whole car here. And we have the back of the car where there's going to be the driver's seat or whatever in front. And these two are basically, this tube right here is the smaller tube on the end here, this one or this one. You can basically use one of these. Depending on how long you want to make it. I use generally two of them for whatever reason. You also want to slightly angle them so they are like looking a little bit like in this direction. And this piece over here is obviously, where is it? It is obviously this piece over here, the smaller one, not the one with the big thing in here. Now you can place that, obviously make sure that they almost align with the cubes here. You can obviously make them as perfect as you need to. Obviously, in this time, it is just for the tutorial, so it's not that important. The next part is very important, and here you need to start like thinking about where you want to place anything and where you, how long your car should be in the end. So like on this, you can still decide, okay, now maybe I want it to be a little bit smaller, whatever. But once you have this like lineup here, it is important that you stick with this. Otherwise, it will like completely mess up your whole thing. So first of all, important for these tire things here is that you do not place them like in line. So you can see here that this one is a little bit further to the engine thing here than this one. Like the back tire is most likely in basically all these futuristic and like hot rod cars, you can say, they're always like shrinking into the front. So I think it's very important that you make sure that that is as well. You can find these, same thing in this gallery, obviously everything here, besides one little thing is from the primitive shape gallery. So you can find them here, just scale them up. I don't think I made them bigger or something, I just made them like bigger in size, not scale them in any direction. And then you need this little piece right here. So you can see this one is basically the half curve here. Where is it? I think it's this one actually, the full one. And how you can do this is basically if you snap it to a grid and you're going to rotate it first of all in this direction. And what you want to do is make sure that you scale this axis like this. And then you basically, all you have to do is scale it in this direction like so. And you can see how this is basically becoming this little like curve thing here. And that is all you need for that. Other than that, just make sure that this thing aligns with the front wheel cap or whatever that is called. There's a good possibility that it's sticking out here. Like you can see if I put this a little bit more to the side, it is coming out here. So make sure that it's not the case. But other than that, just make it as close as possible. You probably cannot align it perfectly, but something like this is okay and decent and should work. Yeah, for the next step, we want to make sure that we fill out this whole thing here. We're also gonna extend this because in the original one, this is like a little bit longer. Like it's like this part is a little bit longer. And we're also gonna add the wing, the first piece of the wing on the back. So for the filling out here, you can just use the basic cube block and just fill it out. You can also make it perfectly aligned with this front here, so it's like perfectly aligned. It doesn't have to be perfect with the back one. We're gonna fix that in a later step. Okay, so to extend this front wheel thing, basically you need a quarter circle and have to scale it in just one direction. So you take this piece right here. So this little piece, you're just gonna take it out. And what you want to do is, instead of like scaling it like in all directions or something like this, you want to scale it in one direction. So it becomes this like little bump thing, and you can see that you can just perfectly place that on the front thing. And then the last thing you have to do, just for the Batmobile feel of it, add this wing here. This one is basically just the very simple version of this one. And for this, you actually just have to scale it a little bit, so it's like sticking out on one side, so something like this. So it has a little bit more curve to the end. But other than that, you don't have to change that too much. And then just make sure you angle it correctly. And then instead of making the whole thing on the other side, you just copy everything and put it to the other side. So what you do is like something like this, obviously without the middle part here. You just copy it over and then just make sure that you align the back wheel like accordingly. So something like this and this. So basically that is what you do. You don't want to go every step by step and do this like manually, because that would take too much time and it's more effort than it needed to be. If you now have the basic chassis of your car, or the basic like foundation of the car, you can start adding the smaller parts. You're gonna start off by doing the wheels. The wheels are just a big circle, then fill out the middle part of the circle with the full filled out circle, and then you just make the normal circle here, this one, like the small one, you just make it as small as possible and just put it in there, and you have your wheel. Very easy to do. So the next little part that you need to build is probably the hardest one out of the whole build, and it is the driver's cabin thing. You can make this very easy if you just use like one of these, like where are they? So you can basically use like one of these, and it will basically have like one of the same effects. It will obviously look a little bit easy and cheap if you make it like this. Like you can scale it down a little bit and then scale it up. And I think this looks completely fine. Like if you don't want to build this whole thing, like add like little curves and stuff like that, you will be probably completely fine if you just add that onto your car. I don't think that is too big of a problem. It looks decent, I think. It looks like the Batmobile. Like people will recognize this is a Batmobile. And I think this is the only thing that matters in the end. So people have to recognize it. I mean, it's not functional anyways. But if you want to go the extra step, you can obviously do that. And all I did here is basically I used this piece right here. This is the glass, you can say. You can also color that in a different color, but I think it works the best with black, since the Batmobile is like black. And this piece is this right here, and all I did here is scale it up a little bit and then shrink it into this direction. So it's a little bit more like shaped like the actual Batmobile. And then I just put the half circle on the top here, and then added my favorite piece of the whole gallery, which is this one right here. Because this one can be used for basically all the small details, and we're going to use this a lot in this one as well. So all you have to do is scale it up like this, make it a little bit bigger obviously, and then you can fit it perfectly in the middle. Then use another half circle or quarter circle actually, to like this piece right here to make the edge here. And you use the same piece here to make this a rounding. Making roundings is not that easy in Fortnite Creative because they like all kind of like do not fit within each other. But if you want to do it like me here, I did like these two, and then I just added like some other pieces here. It's not the most beautiful by any means, but who cares in the end? I mean, it looks okay. But you can still use the easy version here. And that's basically all you have to do. Then obviously copy and paste that to the other side, and it should be good to go. So for the wings on the side, all we do is just basically add this piece here and just make it smaller and add it like this. So you can see on the original one here, all you have to do is basically just add them here, and they look fine. Like just angle them a little bit, obviously make sure they fit correctly, and you should be good to go. So we have one last detail on the sides of the car, and that is the exhaustions on the sides, and like some details which make the car look a little bit more not that low poly, but just give it a little bit of detail. And you can see here that this is this long triangle piece, which then I just used these little pieces here, same thing over here. And then I used the, I think it was this one over here, just made it smaller and just put it on the side. So, and then you have your details on the car. For the big back exhaust, I used, first of all, I used this circular pipe here with the roundings on the end. So I think these are over here, this one. And then the only piece that is not from the primitive shape gallery is actually this one right here, which is actually the tomato headstand. And you just have to like scale it in the length and then put it inside of there. The reason why I use this instead of like any other is because obviously it has already flames in it and it looks kind of cool. And it also has this like burnt effect, and I think that is perfect for the exhaust. And last but not least, we have the front piece over here, which is made out of a bunch of circle projects. And you can see here, okay, so for the front engine thingy, we're just gonna use the same pipe here. So we're gonna add stuff on that pipe that is already existing. We're gonna use this as a half pipe to add it on the front, because for whatever reason in the original one this is shaped like this. So I think that is perfect. You don't have to really add anything else here. This comes like this. You can find that in the gallery. And then what we want to do is we want to add a big block like this to make sure that we have like a little bit of like engine look there. It is really hard to make it look like it is in the original one because like of the shapes that Fortnite Creative has and that the car in real has. So I think this is the closest one that we can make it look like the original one. So just add this big block. You can find that obviously also in the gallery. Should be somewhere here. Just get it up and you should be good to go. Up next, we just use like 3 different combinations of pipes. This one is the same pipe here. You can use this one. Then we use the smaller one, which we just put in here. And then we use the one with the little tip on the front. And we also scaled that in the length. So all you have to do is here scale it in this direction. And that is all you have to do there. It's very simple to build and very effective looking. You can also paint that in like silver or something. I think in the movies and in the actual car, this is silver. But obviously it has the silver metallic look, which we cannot really achieve with the primitive shape gallery. So I left it black, but if you want to change it up, you're completely fine to do that. So other than that, there's just a few more details that we can add. For example, I added these sideways blocks here to make this look a little bit more round, because otherwise if we delete this, it looks a little bit like too round for the original one. So I added these to make it look more realistic. And then you can also add like little lights. Same thing, I use this piece over here, which I use for almost anything, which is small details. Could just add the lights here. The car in itself is actually pretty simple to build, and once you get the hang of it, you're pretty much good to go, and you have your own Batmobile in Fortnite Creative. And that is basically all for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I see you probably back tomorrow with the big update that is coming tomorrow. As some of you guys might know, there's going to be choppers in tomorrow and some other cool stuff. So with that being said, I'll see you guys back in my next video, and bye.